the M8, the Future 1 Series, the 992. Oh, that was very bad entry. Yeah, close but no cigar. Who would have thought? That's some very impressive number. Hey, is the truck gonna be open? Interesting. Good morning, comrades. Many people often forget that Nürburg is actually just a small village, and like a real village, we have animals. Actually, our barn used to be a pig farm, but now we have something more crazy for you. Yep, Z5, you really have to wait. Typical Nurburgring problems. I've heard of pussy magnet, but this is typically sheep magnet. I mean, that's also a way to camouflage a car. Just put sheep around it. Now you can go. What are you doing? No, that's some impressive prototype as well. But on a serious note, good morning, comrades. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of August. Already almost all through the season, only a couple of months left. But anyway, what I want to say is today the track is closed because it is rented out by manufacturers for high performance industry pool test session. So like a couple of months ago, we were here as well, and we saw Lamborghini Urus clocking. We saw Aventador SVJ, which I clocked below or like 6 minutes 51 or something. After which I said that it's probably gonna beat the GT2 RS lap record, which eventually happened. So, long story short, I'm expecting to see a couple of interesting cars today. The setup that we have over there, oh, look at that. Isn't that the new, I don't know what it is, probably 1 Series BMW. But anyway, the difference between official lap record runs is you see lots of cones there, so it's not a main, like not a straight open, so the cars will have to start there. We will need to clock them and then like kind of guesstimate what their lap time would be if something would be going fast, something of our interest. So it's not really a lap record attempts, but we can still come close to answering many of interesting questions. How fast would the next car be? So there is that. In other news, these type of lap sessions are actually booked fairly shortly in advance. So that's why sometimes people book like their trip to the Nurburgring, and then there is like you're gonna get that. So my advice to you, make sure to more or less avoid Wednesdays for long-term bookings. Obviously, if you're planning to come next week or in 2 weeks on the Wednesday, that should be fine. But like if you're scheduling your trip for 2019, if it's the same thing, gonna be like the same deal, try to avoid Wednesdays. And in general, just check the calendar. There's a Nürburgring calendar with all the opening times for Nordschleife and GP track, so you can check it in the video description. We get daily questions from people like, hey, is the track gonna be open? Interesting. Is the track gonna be open on that or that day? Well, there's a calendar. Here you go, sir, there's a calendar. Well, okay, thank you, but can you tell me if it's open on that time? There's a calendar. So just check the calendar, plan your trip, come enjoy the Nürburgring, and don't be surprised if it's closed because you should have checked the calendar. There is that regarding public service announcement. Let's check out what type of cars today gonna bring. And I'm today joined by a couple of hotel guests from Apex who are gonna assist me with some lap times, probably with their smartphones, because I don't have any chrono on my Apex watch. So there's that. Let's see what the day gonna bring. In other news, Yeah, emergency helicopter is just going to chill. But although Nordschleife is closed for this obvious reason, the GP track is open, however, so you could hear all the bikes, you can hear the cars doing some crazy spins, and thereby this means that it would be kind of difficult to listen to any car crossing the so-called finish line, something I've explained previously in one of the previous videos, how you can estimate the lap record. So we'll see what the day is going to bring. Okay, and a while later, now the M8, and there's a person who just entered the track with a stopwatch, so I guess they are clocking for their own interests. So are we. Yep, 15 seconds. So let's see what the estimate will be in this case. M8, very excited to see it, more excited to see the actual race car, the M8. We've seen the car actually this year at Le Mans, but I'm more excited to see like the more affordable non-GTE cars for championships such as VLN, for example. It's going to be probably very expensive, because I believe the current M6 GT3 car is around 600,000 euros. So the M8 will be probably even on top of that, so we'll see. Only like the top level teams will be able to afford it, but nonetheless, currently the M6 GT3 is probably the best sounding car of them all, especially when they go off the throttle and you hear the blow-off valve. That's proper car porn for you. So we'll see what the M8 is going to do. We are now 2 minutes 30 into the lap time of the M8, and I just want to say a short disclaimer. Today is the hottest day of the week, although probably not as hot as like 2 weeks ago when it was 35 plus degrees centigrade, but today is 28, 29. This gives us rough temperature of tarmac roughly of slightly below 50, I would say, and in total high intake temperature. So turbocharged engines such as M8 not really gonna like it. So today again, it's not like a real lap record attempt-ish weather, but still like an estimate, and you can know that the eventual lap time, if they're gonna go for it, especially with the actual lap record attempt at some point, if I may, because I don't know, there's no such thing as a lap record over the M6, I believe. But anyway, what I want to say is that whatever we gonna see today, the actual time with better conditions is going to be a lot faster, and a lot I would say between 5 and 10 seconds. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, we have passed the magic 7 minutes mark. Obviously, I wouldn't expect the car go sub 7, but just want to tell you that the current BMW lap record is BMW M4 GTS, which is 7 minutes 27.88, I think, even so 7:28, I would say. Oh, no, it's just a bike. Okay, let's open up our ears and see what's it gonna be. I see that the gentleman with stopwatch already moved on to the beginning of the track, so probably to press stop. Okay, there's something coming. Oh, well, I missed it, but you can press stop and let's like subtract 5 seconds or something. Well, the eventual time of gonna be like sub 8, which is pretty impressive. So for a very heavy sedan, saloon, big, heavy car. Yeah, impressive. Our next subject of today. The future 1 series, probably 140. The question is it going to be the front wheel drive or all wheel drive? Are we lapping again? Stay tuned for the next 7 minutes. Well, just cut to it, next 7. Actually, while we, or actually me, is waiting for the 1 series to pass by again, here's a shot of what I saw that was parked at BMW M Test Center while I was walking up to T13, the corner where I'm standing right now. And some interesting, well, the things that we already know, such as M2 competition, 7 series, but the most interesting is the new 3 series, and after that, the new M4, because yeah, M3 is discontinued because of the strict emission laws followed by, well, because of the Dieselgate. But here's what we saw. M2 competition. New 7 series. Hybrid test vehicle. Interesting. The future 3 series. 8 series. And lots of other goodies. Now obviously I don't expect it to beat the time of an M4 GTS, but it should at least go somewhere sub 8, definitely sub M8. So Let's stand and listen, but unfortunately I'm pretty certain that we cannot hear the car crossing the finish line because of all the things that are happening at the GP track, the bikes and the cars. So we'll just have to see the car approaching here and then subtract whatever, like gets like -5 seconds or something. Now, how much are we at? 8 minutes 30. Well, I guess maybe horsepower does win after all of the M8. Because how much would the 140 have if it's a 140 in general at all? And if they even went for a fast lap time. Speaking of which, its rival, the A35 or A45, which is going to come out after A35, very interested to see on the performance of that, especially because the previous generation, or should I say current generation A45, was never intended to be an AMG. And that's why the car is great, amazing. I had lots of opportunities to drive one myself, multiple of them myself actually, and it's an amazing car. But when you take it out on the track, the car kind of likes to overheat within like 3 laps of Nordschleife, which many cars do in general. But the reason behind that is like throughout development of the A-Class, AMG department came to engineers, or actually the management of Mercedes came to AMG and said, make that an AMG, and said, whoa, the car's already like halfway through development. How you want us to put all this engine and coolers in the small body type? But with the current or the upcoming, the A35 and 45, that's a different story. Everybody knew in advance that it should be AMG version, so the body and everything else is prepared to be kicking ass. So again, very excited to see what that car is going to achieve. But now let's wait for our next subject of the day. Let's see if it's going to be another BMW, maybe M2 competition, or even the 3 Series, the future 3 Series, or maybe some other manufacturer. And our next subject of today is the 992. The question is, of course, is it the Carrera? Is it the Carrera S? Is it the Carrera Turbo? It's definitely not the GT3. Tradition-wise, while we are waiting for the car to be back, let me tell you something about the car. According to the rumors, the upcoming Carrera and Carrera S are going to have around 370 or 450 horsepower. And in the future, probably 992 Mark II gonna even have a hybrid version, which is gonna top that as well. 0 to 100, roughly 3.7 seconds. But even like going back to the horsepower, 450 horsepower. I mean, a couple of years ago, those were like GT3 numbers. Those were turbo numbers. Those are high numbers. And nowadays, you can have like a turbo performance, very fast performance for just a Carrera price. It's going to be a very interesting car. Mostly interesting to see what it's going to do on the Nurburgring. Well, we could already see like the technological progress that the Porsche did with, for example, GT3 Mark II versus GT3 Mark I 991 series when they clocked like the Nürburgring almost 25 seconds faster. However, technological advantage and the actual faster lap time, we need to thank Michelin for providing Michelin Cup to our tires, because those alone are roughly between 8 and 10 seconds faster. And here we have Megane RS Club Sport probably. Oh, that was very bad entry. That was also very bad filming skills from me. But do we have a second stopwatch going, people?
I was 5 seconds late.
5 seconds late, but we can like kind of more or less estimate it anyway. Megane RS Club Sport, yeah, also very interesting car that we're gonna see next year. Probably gonna be presented around Geneva Motor Show. That's when the car manufacturers like to brag about their lap records, saying that they have the fastest front-wheel drive car. Previous generation Megane RS had fastest lap record of a front-wheel drive car in the past, so this one definitely gonna have around 310 horsepower and yeah, lots of other goodies. So we'll see. And for now, let's wait for the Porsche 992, whatever it was, Carrera or Carrera S, to be back, and also the Megane RS. And maybe in between something's gonna happen as well. So we've surpassed the 7 minutes mark. If I would have to guess the actual lap time, if it's just going to be like Carrera S, it should be somewhere between 7:30. But again, today is not the lap record day, and the circumstances, etc., I already told you. But a sub 8 would be nice to see or hear. But in this case, because oh, there we go. Yep, yes. How much was it? So yeah, 7:38, and let's like subtract like superficial, like 5 seconds, the car actually crossing the finish line before we could see it. So yep, 7:30, nice guess, and also very nice performance already on a non-official lap record day by Porsche, whichever that car was. Probably you can tell me in the comments. And now we're waiting for Megane RS, probably Club Sport, which is currently at 5 minutes 30, which is already slower than the Porsche 919 Evo. That was a very bad joke of me, but let's stick around for more and see what's gonna happen next. Okay, we're now at 7:30. We should again subtract 5 seconds for clocking the car a bit later than it was actually crossing the start line. Previous generation was doing around 7 minutes 50 something, so it should come soon, any second now, unless they were going slow, of course. Now, well, this time we could hear something. So we are at, well, 8 plus, subtract 5 seconds from that. So yeah, well, the potential is there. Potential is there. And the next subject is AMG 73. So the version with hybrid, packing around 800 horsepower. We will see, we will see. This car we've been spotting already like the whole year, so it's just going to be interesting to see if they improve their lap time. And actually I shouldn't be talking just blah blah because I haven't clocked it previously, I believe, but I know that the car was flying. 7:24 and we can hear something flying on the main straight and also flying up there, so probably it's gonna disturb our assumption, but we will see. Or should I say we will hear? Now, yep, this time we could hear it loud and clear, crossing the line. 7:43, very impressive for a big and heavy car. And again, like on the optimal day, we can subtract like another 5 seconds or even maybe more. So that's some very impressive number for a high performance luxury sedan. Now let's wait who is going to be our next contender. And while we're waiting for our next subject, if there's going to be any, just a comment, I believe the current lap record regarding the fastest sedan is in Giulia QV, which is 7:32. So 9 seconds of estimated faster than the current time you saw being set by 73 AMG. So yeah, again, an ideal circumstance is going to be faster, so we may have a new lap record holder in front of us until it's gonna actually set the lap record. And unfortunately we can hear the bikes entering the GP track, so it's going to be more difficult to listen to anyone who's going to enter the track again in the future. Now, some interesting update in between, we are joined by some, I would say, professional film crew. They have like tripod, massive camera, and even a massive external microphone on them. So I would say that they are here to capture something special happening. Who would have thought? The AMG GTR Club Sport 2019. Are we clocking, gentlemen?
Yep.
That's good. Just a reminder, the previous GTR, well, the current GTR, not the Club Sport version, didn't do any official lap record, but the magazine Sport Auto did their super test and they ran 7 minutes 10. Rentec did a run earlier this year in May, and they released a video a couple of weeks ago, actually, well, a couple of days ago, where they did 7 minutes 04 with 825 horsepower, I believe, which is pretty impressive nonetheless. They wanted to do like even sub 7, but the conditions weren't there that day. So this car with a factory driver on the ideal circumstances is definitely going to do sub 7. So today we are going to see maybe already even sub 7, who knows. And there we go, one more. Not sure if it's a different car. Are we clocking? Yes, let's wait and see. Okay, there was some lag with me recording it, but the... Actually, what is it? Was it the 1 Series or was it new Mercedes? Didn't even pay attention. Okay, I'm back to the GTR Club Sport. I don't expect to see a sub 7 today. I mean, anything is possible. So let's see if we're gonna see the car appearing, because we're obviously not gonna hear the car appearing with all the noise coming from the GP track. No? I heard something, but... Meh. Yeah, close but no cigar. 992 is passing the 7 minutes 15 mark. I forgot already the previous time we clocked it at, but there was something impressive, sub 7:30, so let's see what's going to be now. And then all of a sudden I'm back at Apex because I ran out of memory on my phone. After the things that you saw, I saw a BMW 3 Series, the new one, passing by, but we didn't clock it because we were already halfway left and we just saw it in the distance, and that's it. So some things need to remain secret and hidden, and so for that, stay tuned for next time. And for that, as always, subscribe, like, share, and see you next time at the Nurburgring. Bye bye! Stuff like this.